Welcome. In this lesson, we're going to be looking at how to specify color within your CSS. There's three different ways. The first one is a set of predefined colors that each of the browsers understand. And you can see here we have black, red, yellow, maroon, etc. Depending on which browser you have, you would have more. But in the end, you have a pretty small set of colors. The next one is hexadecimal, and there you have the full range of colors. Each of the two values that you see there for a total of 6 correspond to red, green, or blue, the RGB spectrum. And so you can see there that the second entry for green there has 00, FF, and 00. So that would be pure green. Likewise, to do pure blue, we would have 00, 00, and then FF. And like so for white as well. You just turn all of them on at full capacity. Lastly, we have RGB. And you can see there that the values of RGB are written directly. So you have 3 slots for each of them. Again, for green, you would have 0 on the R, 0 on the blue. So that's the red, and the blue would be 0, and the green is 255. And so you can see a mapping also to what we have in hexadecimal. So let's go ahead and use a bit of these and do a practical example. We'll write some HTML, which we will then style and use colors. So let's start off with a div. If you haven't seen this tag before, this is a general container for content, and you can use it to style. So let's go ahead and write three of these. We'll simply copy and paste. Now if we reload the page, we can see there that we have no styling whatsoever, and we have 3 entries. So let's go ahead and create some styles. And I'm going to go ahead and create a general style for my divs. I have here a height of 150 pixels, so each of those divs is going to be 150 pixels. And at the bottom, I'm going to have a margin of 25 pixels. The reason I want that is because I want some separation from each of those divs, each of those boxes, if you would. So next, after that, we're going to define 3 styles. Each of these styles is going to correspond to each of those paragraphs, the divs that we created. So let's go ahead and define those. We're going to create classes, so we'll start with the class notation. And this is going to be style 1. And we're going to set the background color. And for this, we're going to use one of the predefined colors. We'll use green. Next one will be style 2, and for this one we're going to also use set the background color, but for this we'll use hexadecimal, and so we will define for this one, and the hex values start with a pound, and we're going to do pure blue, so 00, 00, and FF. The last one, it's going to be the RGB style, so let's do style 3 and write background color, and we're going to do RGB, and we'll do pure red 255, 0, 0, and there we have it. Okay, so we've saved that. We have a style sheet called color.css. We have an HTML file called color.html. And now we're going to start assigning, well, let's do our link first. We'll do our link, and we do not need for HTML5 the type, so we can remove that. And so we have link rel style sheet, and then we will enter color.css, and we will enter a style for each of these. And the class we will use corresponds to the styles we've predefined. So this will be style 1, and we will have style 2 for the next, and then 3. So let's do 2 here, and then 3. So let's go ahead and save. Let's remove this here so we can simply see the spacing. Well, no, we won't see the spacing. Let's just bring it all in at the same time. Go ahead and load it, and you can see there that we have 4 blocks, each of them corresponding to the styling. You can see here that the green was defined using the predefined colors. then we have the hex value for blue, and then we have the RGB color for red. They're all the same. The first one where we have the predefined is pretty small, so you rarely see that used unless you have a very small example like this. Typically what you see most is the hex value, and at times you will see the RGB. So this is simply an exercise on looking at how color is defined within properties in CSS. These are the values, the three ways in which you can do it. So go ahead and try to replicate this example. Use some different colors. Most of your editors will give you these hex values. So if you go into something like Photoshop and you find some color you like, you will find there in one of the options or in one of the fields the hex value. So this is something that most image editors or photo editors will give you. So go ahead and try to come up with some new ones. Try to replicate the example we've done. Play with the size of the boxes and try to make sure your understanding is solid on this. So with that, let me go ahead and close and say goodbye.